One thing that I really liked about Hubble 3D, I actually saw Space Shuttle 3D also back in 2002 when it came out.
Space Station.
Or Space Station, rather. And, you know, it was really, really good. But one thing that I really liked about Hubble is that you guys are following you guys on a mission. And that gives it this sort of narrative feel. Was that something you guys were actually shooting for? Is that something you were trying to achieve?
Well, absolutely, because the Hubble story itself has a very strong narrative, which we were able to capture years ago in 1990 when we filmed the first deploy, and then we went to the first repair, and since then there's been a lot of ups and downs with Hubble, so it gives it a good story. And of course, to have a climax, you want to have the story climax. The peak was the final repair and service mission, which was great, and it was great to work with these guys on it.
Definitely. And as far as the filming goes, like, you know, it seemed like it was just you guys kind of up there having fun filming and stuff.
Glad to hear you say that, because that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
For the parts that we filmed, I mean, you had a lot of cameras that Toni and her team used for the launch and so on. But yeah, for the onboard stuff, it pretty much was us, particularly stuff inside of the cabin, was us just screwing around. And so I'm glad that was included. Yeah,
it was really fun that it showed that, like, the scene with the taco was really funny.
That's everyone's favorite scene.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed because I think you don't
like tacos?
No, I love tacos, but every single space documentary I've ever seen, they always use a banana. And I was
bananas are tough. I don't think we had any bananas. We don't have any. If you don't eat a banana right away, it's going to go bad.
Yeah.
And then it stinks, and then you got to deal with it as trash.
Yeah, I just remember they always slap the banana and it floats around.
Yeah, you can peel it and run around. Yeah. I don't even think we had. I think our commander put his foot down and said no bananas.
Okay.
I think because they can get squishy and stinky. We don't have any. Not that you don't want to put a banana in a refrigerator anyway.
Yeah.
But,
however, whatever was going inside that taco didn't look too great to me.
I think it was chicken teriyaki. It tastes really good.
I know. I'm just kidding.
What was it like actually filming in space?
Well, for the IMAX part, for the IMAX camera part, there was the camera in the payload bay, which shows you when the telescope's coming in, and all the spacewalk scenes where you look aft, looking at the back of the payload bay of the space shuttle with the telescope and the Earth in the background. We controlled that from a laptop computer, and Toni and her team picked out the scenes that they thought would be best, and that was right in our checklist. As you know, we were telling someone to do something for the spacewalk. We also would turn the camera on and turn it off, try to get the shot. If the shot wasn't there, we would say, all right, we can't get that one, the lighting's no good, we'll go to the next opportunity and try to get something. And we knew if we got one, right, we didn't have to get the next one if we had whatever. So all that was all part of our checklist, which makes it easy for us because it's an open book test. You don't have to remember we're supposed to get this and that. It's right, you know, it's all an open book test. We have the checklist that takes us through every step of our spacewalk, really every step of the flight, and all that stuff was included. And then the other stuff with our, you know, that you see in the cabin of us interviewing each other and, you know, making our meal, or you know, the tour of the toilet. All that is just shenanigans that we kind of almost normally do anyway, and provided that for anyone to use. And Toni was able to convert that from the format that we had, high def camera footage, into the 3D IMAX footage, which
that was a real
probably
bonus.
Was not easy, was it?
Yeah.
It was a real bonus to be able to do that. We couldn't have done that, you know, 10, 15 years ago. There just wasn't the technology or the techniques available. But I think it's really neat stuff, and people enjoy it so much to actually hear the astronauts talk and joking back and forth. So it was a bonus to get it into this film.
How did Leonardo DiCaprio get involved?
Leonardo came to us via my boss in Santa Monica, who's chairman of Filmed Entertainment, Greg Foster, and through his connections in Warner Brothers, my CEO of IMAX actually met Leonardo in Tokyo, and they got talking about all the early IMAX that Leonardo had seen as a kid growing up in East LA, and he'd gone to all our movies at the California Science Museum. So he was a big fan to begin with and agreed to work with us, and we're so lucky to have him. I think he did a fabulous job.
Yeah, definitely. If he wasn't such a phenomenal screen actor, I would say that this is what he should do, because it was just, you know, there was just something about his tone and the way that he read.
He brings such enthusiasm to
it was really, really good. As far as the training to go into space goes, like, what's the hardest part to you?
It's different for everybody. You know, the most fun, most enjoyable, rewarding is the spacewalk training in the pool. But the hardest thing I've ever had to do as an astronaut was become a proficient swimmer. Did you know that? Because I grew up, I never was much of a, I grew up in New York, I was a skinny little kid, I was always cold in the water, I never really learned to swim very well. And one of the first things, in the first letter we get from NASA that says, welcome to, have I told you this story? we get this letter that says, welcome to the astronaut program, congratulations, you know, I was like, oh, okay, it is very good, you know, I was very happy. And there's another paragraph, one of the first events will be your swim test. I'm like, what the heck does this have to do? But it's because we go to survival training, water survival training, to be able to, we fly in these jets, we wear these kind of clothes when we fly, and you need to be able to swim if you end up in the ocean, right? And the same thing for the space shuttle, you have to be able to survival swim, and also for going in the spacewalking pool that we have, you have to be a pretty good, or at least a decent swimmer. And this was really something that was bad news for me to read that, because I'm going to get thrown out in the first week.
He obviously aced it.
I did all right, but luckily my wife is a swim instructor, and she's used to teaching children who don't know how to swim, and I was one of those in that category. And my kids are great swimmers, my son. Anyway, but that for me, that was the toughest thing, believe it or not, was getting by the swim test, and I did all right. I was very motivated. So if you're motivated, you can do almost anything.
Are there any other big like space IMAX movies in the works?
Well, I'm hoping next to do another Earth-looking film. I think it would really be neat to do that from the space station, because now they have the big cupola up there, which is a wonderful observing platform. It's all windows all the way around. I think it'd be absolutely smashing to do that for sure. Bad use of words with windows. But I would love to do that. But you know, I haven't sort of started working towards it yet, but that's the next thought for me anyway.
So you've been up twice. Any plan on going up again?
I'll go again. It's the program's changing though, because the space shuttle program is finishing. We only have 4 flights left. You know, by the end of 2010, looks like we'll probably be done with flying space shuttles after nearly 30 years of flying them. So you know, it's a different type of experience now. It would be a long duration flight, flying on a Soyuz most probably. But sure, I'd love to go again if that opportunity came. I mean, it is such an extraordinary experience. It's not something you'd want to pass up.
What do you guys think the next big achievement in space travel will be, or what would you guys like it to be?
It's a good question.
IMAX Hubble's the sequel, and I think it would be the next. I think we should appreciate what we're doing with the space station a little bit more, because that is unbelievable. The space station is colossal, and it's got lots of room and modules in it, and it's doing some great research.
Completely transformed from the movie you saw, which was just the Destiny Lab. That was the biggest module that had gone up to it, and now it's like an apartment complex.
It's unbelievable.
Or a shopping mall.
Someone asked me about the 2001 thing movie that came out in the late 60s and in 2010, and
the
why
Kubrick one.
There. What's that?
The Kubrick one.
And why aren't we there? And I'm like, well, not so fast. Because I think the space station we have now blows anything that science fiction people had at that time. I don't think we're appreciating what we have up there right now. We've had people in space for almost 10 years now, constantly, right? It's been up, and it was small, as Toni was saying when it first started, but now it's gigantic. And the shuttle flights are finishing it up. And
multiple countries.
Yeah, everyone's involved. We have
Japan together.
And European, Canada, all the countries. Russia, of course, is a big player with the U.S. It's a wonderful program. It's a wonderful resource we have. So I think that is our big step that we're going to be concentrating on. And then, you know, in the future beyond that, interplanetary travel, I think is what's going to be beyond the space station. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going on now and will continue.
And the key thing about the space station is that everything you need, all the resources and skills that you really need if you're going to survive on Mars. You have to build a little base there for sure. That's all been learned in the process of building the space station and living on it. So.
Would you like to make a Mars IMAX movie?
Totally. Absolutely, completely. There has been one IMAX Mars movie made, which utilizes some of the rover photographs. It was mainly about the rovers built at JPL, but it'd be really neat to go back there. I would love to do it. Love to do the moon again too.
Well, you got your leading man here, I'm sure.
Absolutely,
I'm available.
the leading man. Wonderful. Yeah. Do you dance?
No, I might be able to moonwalk though.